All right, here we go. Where's that URL at? And let's throw up the intro while I'm sneezing and wheezing there. That intro is so weird. I sent that intro to this girl who I was like kind of halfway dating, and the response is just like dead air. Oh, I shouldn't have worn a green shirt today. Well, I'm gonna be a little bit more sparkly than normal. Um, test. I only type one this time. Yeah, it's so there's an issue with YouTube chat where from time to time it will like echo chats forevermore, but it seems to be intermittent and happen around when they make changes to the YouTube chat API. So it hasn't happened since then. Hopefully it'll never happen again. I hate it when it's like all I don't know. All right, if me being snowy is annoying, let me know and I can change to a different shirt sort of midstream here because this is I didn't realize that I'd be like fucking pulling into this whole thing there. Well, hello everybody. I'm Zach ZYZ. This is day 7th. We've been doing it for a solid week of editing Xeros, and we have made tremendous progress on this book so far. We're almost a quarter of the way through it. Maybe a little bit more, because I think we're on like page 50 or 60. So let's read our epigraph here. Those who can make you believe absurdities can make you commit atrocities, by Voltaire. And then our boy John Milton says, long is the way and hard that leads out of hell up to light. Out of I look like I'm on a very grainy black and white TV. Rod Sterling. I could easily like set myself to be completely desaturated, and even add scan lines to this if we really wanted to get into the Twilight Zone. Well, just imagine that this was a transmission from the heart of a dying space station in the middle of a collapsing solar empire. But for real, let me know if it's so distracting that I should change my shirt, because I think I've got one of them floating around here somewhere. Fuck it, I'll just rocket shirt, like just tear off the shirt sitting here in my underwear. We'll have Logic pop up here in a second, I'm sure. Let me see. I think today is the Super Bowl, and I think it's like the Chiefs playing the Brownsville Red Indians or some I don't really follow football. Wicked kick to the groin. So when you open this, all right, there's Logic. All right, now we can begin. So we had the Legend of Arcturus, the Legend of Arcturus, where Xeros told this crazy story about a space battle. Really like that chapter, but it's the only chapter like that we do in the entire thing. Blowing off some steam though, real quick. I bet you are. That's exactly what he meant too. Why must I be so vulgar? Trigonal I just like seeing like little snippets of the words as we're zipping through the chaos manifest that was the Battle of Arcturus. It does keep in mind, like when you see like badwriting.com and stuff like that, just how stupid like any one line can sound apropos of nothing, like in isolation. So you really can't get a feel for whether or not the author did the work to deserve to say like pendulous breasts or whatever horseshit that they typed in there. So for those who are just joining the stream for the very first time ever, I'm Zach ZYZ. This is like my 9th novel, and I always lose track of them. My first one was Survival Mode, which is just like a little novella. It's only about 80 pages, but super fun. All killer, no filler. Then my second book was a full-length novel called Xan and Ink. Those two came out through Gut Punch Press. The third book that I put out was a little short 40-pager called The Right to Bear Arms. The fourth one that I put out was Hawks at the Diner, also 40 pages, but a lot of story in those 40 pages, and they're available on Amazon. I had an idea that it would be cool to just put out books that were like just one subway ride long, and so that series of books is like books that are that long. And then the 6th book that I put out is probably Gravid, just in sequential order of when we re-edited them there. So Gravid was this very long, it's like an 800-page long story about a young woman grappling with severe depression. So Logic was here for that one. And badwriting.com doesn't go to anything. Oh, I'm going to buy it and just put my own fucking webpage on there. That's fantastic. Just have examples. They're all me. So then I had Gravid, a very long story. That was our first real live edit. So that was my 6th book. Excuse me. Ugh. No, we don't have to do that again. I just have to disappear for a second. Ugh. I better not be getting sick. I don't think I am. I think it's just air conditioner fumes. Don't die. Yeah, we got to finish this book before I die. It's all about the Bulwer Lytton Fiction Contest. Was that the, like, it was a dark and stormy night contest? I remember that thing right there. So what do we got? So there, yeah, that was my sixth book, Gravid, which is probably, I would have to get pretty fucking famous to sell that book. It's just a hard sell for any publisher. And oh, Yakateko XX Extra hot sauce in my nose today. It's pretty intense. Yeah, they're not fooling around. I like Yakateko. So after Gravid, we put out Space Tards. So that would have been book 7. It hasn't been published yet, mainly because it's the end of my publishing career when I published that book. And also, I'd like to record an audiobook for it. It was just like a super fun romp. And then we went back and the ninth book, we went back and re-edited. Wait, am I counting right here? Gravid, Space Tards. Eighth book, we went back and re-edited Lemon Maybe and the Electric Lady, which is like probably my swan song. This is like the best thing that I'll ever write. It's just an amazing fucking book. And I'm doing live readings on the street of this book every few days or so. I'll probably do one today. Today we're doing a chapter entitled Big Ass Tea. And then after that, there's this one. So Xeros right here is my 9th book, right? After this, we're probably going to do Rapasaurus as my 10th book. Rapasaurus is another novel that's like already written. And like we'll probably after that maybe go back to the Master Arcanist, because Master Arcanist has like 3 more parts that I've written. It's like full novel length at this point, but I'll probably write like a 5th and 6th version of it. That might wind up being some kind of a fucking trilogy. Worst opening lines contest. Huh. Yeah, I wonder if I could win that. I usually like my opening lines. Like, what is your name? Sergeant Xeros demanded. You know, I want to know what the fuck is going on in that one. What were some other ones? It was the ship, the damn ship that was the problem. So that was the first line of survival mode. And then I don't remember the first line, so maybe that was a bad one. But it was something about the tolling of the 7th cursed bell. And Hawks at the Diner was real easy. It was, Mr. President, you're going to jail. Oh, I like that one. And then I forget what Arcanist started with. But it's not because they're not memorable. It's just I haven't read Arcanist. I reread Xan and Ink recently, and it's a good fucking book. Honestly, there are things in there now that I wouldn't do at this later date. But ultimately, it's a cool fucking story. So I like that I can go back and read my own books. And I've been practicing Oh, you want to do Bonzo logic? You can totally have Bonzo. I'll save that one for you. I'm going to do Gunny. Oh, yeah. Don't chuck up. Bonzo, get the tanks. My whole family was retarded Marines, so I think I can do it. Yeah, we got to give Shitposter like fucking Lefty or something like that. One of the real featured Marines. Anyhow, so we got this book ahead of us right here. But yeah, we really have eventually like more than half of my books will have been edited right here on fucking Twitch and YouTube with this cavalcade of people. In the next year, we may really miss, like, even though I'm all sparkly right now, we may really miss like having this big green screen and stuff like that, because I may be doing all my writing out of the back of a van. But then maybe we'll just post up each day in like a different outdoor type environment. I'll still probably use these same microphones, but we'll just have like way more background noise. So maybe that's good, maybe that's bad, but is definitely what we're gonna have to do, because you know, New York is falling apart, and I'm one of the rats sleeping off of the ship. And also, I'm tired of being in a city. I want to see some trees and get out and remember that, you know, I used to be a fucking creature of the road. I used to go all over America and just thumb my way through different towns and get into adventures and sleep under bridges. And you know, that's a young man's game. But I miss it. I miss the road. This is chapter number 8, The Interrogation. This is Xeros by Zach Z. Wisey, read by the author. They drills? Oh, well, that's pretty easy to fix. You're not getting a point for that one, y'all. So if you're just tuning into the stream for the first time in your life, we do have a leaderboard right here. Every time I accept one of your edits, you get a point. And right now it's Spaithiwa leading the pack at 51, Logic has 30 points, Negi has 12 points, and even E equals MC squared, who's only been in for one stream, was able to accrue 4 points on that stream. Mostly by like browbeating me into unnecessary changes, but I digress. The drills brought me into the debriefing room and thrust me into a metal chair that was bolted to the floor. This is... The drills brought me into the tiny debriefing room and thrust me into a metal chair that we don't need that was. They pulled my hands behind my back and handcuffed me to it. Okay. The drills brought... See, I'm thinking too hard about first sentences here. The drills brought me into the tiny debriefing room and thrust me into the metal chair bolted to the floor. My hands were pulled behind my back and handcuffed to the chair. Okay. The drills brought me into the tiny debriefing room and thrust me into a metal chair. Yeah, I don't like this paragraph so far. And thrust me into a metal chair that was bolted to the floor. They yanked my hands behind my back and handcuffed me to the chair. I pretended to be exhausted. Inside, I was a pulsar, vacillating between... Oh, this is... What the fuck is going on in this? Jesus. It does feel a little repetitive to have the second use of the chair. So, let's get this straight. The drills brought me into the debriefing room and thrust me into a metal chair bolted to the floor. No, we're getting fucking nowhere. This is a rocky start for this morning. Yeah, it's definitely hard to avoid that second repetition. Let's think about what the debriefing room... I didn't bring him there. The drills marched me into the debriefing room and thrust me into a metal chair that was bolted to the floor. Probably radioactive. Mm. There, the air was uncomfortably warm and probably irradiated. I pretended to be exhausted. Inside, I was a pulsar. That was, The drills marched me into the briefing room and thrust me into a metal chair that was bolted to the floor. We were close to one of the main. Yeah. Actually, the drills marched me into a tiny room and thrust me into a metal chair bolted to the floor. I think we need that was. I like the addition that the air is uncomfortably warm and probably radioactive. Yeah. Yeah, reintroduce that was. Yeah, it just you don't need that was there. You could cut it out and the line makes sense, but the reader's mind has to do like a little jump to make it happen. And editing is all about Nordahl wrenched my arms behind my back and handcuffed me to the chair. This was it. Yeah. Yeah, you're. We could say dangerously, probably irradiated. All right, that's fine. Yeah, I like that there. Um, radioactive items irradiate other items. All right, so that's a good point for stratum. So let's toss out some points here. Save everybody. The air was uncomfortably warm and probably irradiated. So contaminated would work there, but I want to keep irradiated. I want to have the sense that the longer he's in this room, the worse it's going to be for him. So the debriefing room sat on top of one of the main reactor conduits. The air was uncomfortably warm and probably irradiated. So we can combine those two sentences if we want to. I don't think that we gain anything by it. And in general, it's like a place where it's one of those compound sentences that a editor will usually break up. Let's see. Strontium or cesium particulate or what. We don't even know what kind of reactor is happening there because we're far enough into the future that they maybe have some whole new kind of crazy fusion shit going on. But whatever it is, we know it's dirty as fuck because it's the Hezo. This was it. I was about to be executed, but they were going to torture me first. I pretended to be exhausted, but inside I was a pulsar. I vacillated between dread and lurid excitement. I was about to be executed, but they were going to torture me first. The drills cut off the lights and left me alone in absolute darkness for what felt like hours. The drills cut off the lights and left me alone in absolute darkness, comma, for what felt like hours. That's not a comma. How would they do it? Beat me to a pulp? Starve me for days? Brand me with a soldering iron? The scenarios in my head grew more elaborate by the minute. I was so aroused, I expected to hear the button of my fly pop off and zing across the cell. What can I say? That's how I'm wired. I didn't choose to be this way. Let me see. Yeah. Let's give logic a point right there. And Stratum does a really good job there of being like, he's in this room alone for hours. What's it sound like? So we're above a main conduit here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. 'TNG engine noise in one of my cut the lights more than oh yeah, that does flow better. Let's give Dioxide a point. There we go. And just so you know it's real, boom, it's there. Um let's see. Let me give you 4 cycles a minute, and I can. Let me see. 嗯，Oh, I like how that turned out. I know I spent like a long time fucking around with that there, but that to me is really cool. So Stratum wanted to get into what's it sound like in the room, but I've made it like very tactile instead. Um, so let's go back through this thing. I pretended to be exhausted, but inside I was a pulsar. I vacillated between dread. Uh, we need a adjective here. Shivering dread and lurid excitement. I was about to be executed, but they would torture me first. Okay. Yeah, there are too many fucking edits coming too quickly for me to process them here. So I'm gonna have to stop and go back through them. I was about to be executed, but they had decided to torture me first. The drills cut the lights, good at it, and left me alone in absolute darkness for what felt like hours. I became intimately familiar with the heartbeat of the reactor underfoot. 4 cycles ran each minute, each lower than the last. The fourth note was too deep to hear, but I could feel it in the soles of my feet. We don't need a butt. So let's see how Sasha said, I became intimately familiar with the heartbeat of the reactors. Starting with there are no alarm bells. Blah, 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 blah. Each was lower than the last. Four cycles ran each minute, each lower than the last. The fourth note was too deep to hear, but I could feel it in the soles of my feet. Yeah, I like the butt there. I think it's my downstairs neighbor. Yeah, it might be. So I actually wrote a story once where like a major plot point was a ceiling man, ceiling fan, ceiling man, a ceiling fan that had been incorrectly mounted, so it was continually rocking back and forth. And yeah, like it's one of those things where if you don't center a ceiling fan correctly when you mount it, it'll forevermore just make all kinds of noise that it doesn't need to. Yeah, I think this is pretty solid right here. Yeah, and so like one of the things I like about having Stratum here is like often Stratum will like remind us like each of the senses. We should try to engage as many as we possibly can in our paragraphs of description. So this is a big improvement, right? I think it's asking a little much to have like this inside I was a pulsar thing, but I don't know, I kind of like it. I don't like shivering dread though. Uh, I want something like total. Yeah, I don't. Mm, I don't like it. I want something like hopeless, actually. Frantic is almost there. Overwrought. Almost like neurotic. Because he's describing himself as a pulsar, and like he's in like a bundle of unstable. This could be. So irrational. I like there, but it's very rational for him to dread his execution. Um, Volatile kind of gets where we're trying to get to. Um, Resilient. How is resilient a fucking? I kind of like elastic dread right there. Yeah. Fugacious. Gay dread. I get. Yeah, honestly, it could be gay dread considering what's probably about to happen in there. What did I like best out of all those? Unstable is close to what we want. Rocky, craggy, flinty, rough, rugged, bearded, broken, brambly, nodular. We're getting pretty deep into ruffled dread, disordered. Let's just do neurotic. Out of all the options that we had, I vacillated between neurotic dread and lurid excitement. That honestly, like that kind of fits. Like I want to picture like Woody Allen chained to a fucking wood metal stool running. Oh, I hope you're not gonna torture me. That kind of that. Yeah, I like neurotic there. Um, I was about to be executed, but they had decided. But they must have decided to torture me first. The drills cut the lights and left me alone in absolute darkness for what felt like hours. I became intimately familiar with the heartbeat of the reactor underfoot. 4 cycles ran each minute, each lower than the last. The fourth note was too deep to hear, but I could feel it in the soles of my feet. I really like that note. That to me is the point where I become anchored in the story, because like I can't not imagine what that's like and think about situations where I've been imprisoned or stuck somewhere, and you just fixate on like one peculiar detail. So I like that a lot. How would they do it? Would they beat me to a pulp? Starve me for days? Brand me with a soldering iron? The scenarios in my head grew more elaborate by the minute. I was so aroused I expected to hear the button of my fly pop off and zing across the cell. What can I say? That's how I'm wired. I didn't choose to be this way. Um, yeah, so this guy has like a big old hard on that you could hang a 4 rail gate from this entire fucking time. Like, consult your doctor if you have an erection lasting for like more than 4 hours. He's really getting off on this situation. And we've set this up previously, but it's still like anytime you have somebody who is like drained of all blood to fuel a throbbing erection, you have to sit and think like, how necessary is this? No, we're not gonna do revved up. Mm. Oh, I don't think you can do that. We can't count the tiles on the wall because he's in complete darkness. Double. But yeah, I've definitely like stared up at like those fucking um, like drops. You know those drop ceiling tiles where they have like all the little pinpricks and expressions, and you just start like visualizing like that water spot is like a big island, and there's a tribe of people there, and they're fighting with this bigger island on the water spot. You're just like imagining outrigger canoes going back and forth between the two of them, and like then this other the radiator duct is a giant alien spacecraft that's just landed, and all kinds of infiltrators are issuing forth, and it just for hours and hours, just sitting there in detention doing that horse shit. Mm. The door flung wide, and I was blinded by the light. It terrified me. I thrashed against the shackles. "What is your name?" Sergeant Xeros demanded. I heard boots in the corridor, the gate as regular as a watch. That sound sobered me instantly. It was Suros. Yeah, we are rewriting a lot because it's not a good chapter so far. Um, the door flung wide, and I was blinded by the light. It terrified me. I thrashed against the shackles until I heard I recognized it instantly and froze. Suros. I was squinting. Everything was a glaring blur. "Traitor, reporting as ordered, sir." You remember that shit, Logic? and froze in place. All right, so this is like, ah, and then he click, 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 click. Um, yeah. I froze up. It felt like the air had been sucked out of my lungs. Xeros. What is your name? Sergeant Xeros demanded. I was squinting. Under the blazing corridor, everything was a glaring blur. Yeah, I don't think that adds much. Where were you last night at 0200 hours? Asleep in my bunk, sir. Did you hear anything in the night? Why is sir capitalized? We do that every time. It's not good. It's a sir. We didn't say sir, or we paid for it. Drill sergeant. What, were you in the fucking Marines or some shit? In the Air Force, it's all sir. Yeah. And we didn't have drill sergeants. We had fucking TIs, technical instructors. Why they? It's just stupid shit. Everybody just thought of them as drill sergeants. Maybe do like traitor. Traitor. Reporting as ordered, sir. Yeah, I'll take that. Wait. Why am I clicking stuff when boom? I just got the shit just ready to go. All right, cool. Where were you last night at 0200 hours? Asleep in my bunk, sir. Did you hear anything in the night? Anyone moving around in the barracks or in the hallway? No, sir. Why is that? Sir? Xeros hit me with... I couldn't rub them. I was still handcuffed to the chair. I couldn't rub them. I was shackled. Yeah, I like that. So we didn't use shackle earlier. Too old to join the Space Force RIP. Well, I'll take you anyway. With a waiver. I was in the infantry. Maybe the only place left in the army where they can hit you. That guaranteed infantry. What are you fucking doing in the infantry? You're too smart to be there. Which I'm sure every single person in your life told you. His voice was getting closer, but my eyes refused to clear. I couldn't rub them. I was shackled to the chair. I like that. Did you hear anything in the night? Anyone moving around in the barracks or in the hallway? No, sir. Why is that? Sir? Sir? I asked, stupidly. Xeros hit me in my right temple with a closed fist. The blow rang in my skull like a slamming door. Glorious. Machine guns go for. He just wanted to have access to some fucking grenade launchers and pillboxes and fucking depleted uranium. And... oh, loving it. Adrenaline flooded into my veins. Adulation sang behind the ringing in my ears. Adrenaline flooded into my veins and adulation. Yeah, I don't like almost any time where you use the word adrenaline in a story. Adulation swelled beneath the yeah. I swelled with adulation. My lungs were suddenly full of air. Heat was rising from the sides of my face. My eyes were bright and alert. I could see again. My veins were hot with adulation. My lungs were full of air. I was alive. In that moment, I had the audacity to stare right into Xeros' eyes, without servility or guile. I wanted him to hit me again. Harder, I wished. Where does... Oh, I think that's a good spot for an exclamation point. Yeah, I'm gonna throw that there. So this is meant to be like kind of a disturbing scene where we like see the extent of which this character likes to be abused, and I'm not like for the most part like not much of a masochist myself. So this we well, there's certainly enough of them on FNet that we could just find one there and be like, does this track with you? So I may be getting this wrong, and very few masochists are outside of like a purely sexual context really get off on us this way. So he is an extra special masochist right here. In that moment, I had the audacity to stare right into Xeros' eyes without servility or guilt or guile. I wanted him to hit me again. Harder, I wished. This is some real like daddy's cummies type shit right here, but I like it honestly. I think it's not something you would see in your everyday science fiction novel. Instead, his clenched jaw melted into a grimace of disgust. A sigh hissed out of his flared nostrils. Xeros had forgotten I was like that. I wondered how he'd ever gotten to be a sergeant with such an expressive face. We should just... I wondered how he'd ever gotten to be a drill with such an expressive face. Maybe it was only because I'd known him so long. Maybe I was only imagining it. He didn't hit me again and pretended not to notice my erection. I asked you why you didn't hear anything, inmate. Sir, I was asleep, I repeated. The other inmates were more forthcoming with me. All of them heard something. Xeros dropped his voice, leading me down a path. He wanted me to wonder if one of them had said something about me. I think that's why they had me waiting in the dark for so long. I was supposed to be wondering about them. uh, oh, Negi, I just got banned from my favorite website. I'm burning up inside. Where did they fucking ban? I just got shadow banned from the science fiction subreddit yesterday. Or I just found out I was shadow banned yesterday. Fucking horseshit. Oh no, Negi's fucking the echo is back with Negi. We're just gonna ignore it because everybody else's chats seem to work. But don't capitalize drill. Yeah, so drill is not capitalized wherever that is. It's weird how like I'm capitalizing things because I think that they're important rather than like based on whether they're a proper noun or what have you there. Yeah, I wonder what it is. It's like an old version of the YouTube uh like browser source. Maybe they updated it and the old one just renders differently or whatever. Um but yeah, that's a fucking shame you got banned from the website. Are you gonna evade or just take your punishment? And what would you even get banned for? You're not like much of an edge lord. Um, so just if you haven't seen this before, his chats will just echo for a while, maybe like 3 or 4 times because of some weird glitch between Restream and the whatever. Negi, if you want your chats to stop echoing, you could just hop onto the Twitch stream, twitch.tv/ZachZYZ, and your shit will stop echoing. I think other people are immune to the echoing, but maybe you hadn't refreshed your browser in a bit. I don't really know what's going on. I can only speculate. The other inmates were more forthcoming with me. All of them heard something. They all heard something. Xeros dropped his voice, leading me down a path. He wanted me to wonder if one of them had said something about me. I think that's why they had me waiting in the dark. Yeah. That was why they left me in the dark for so long. I was supposed to be wondering if anyone had talked instead of edging. I love that thing there. Yeah, he's still echoing through the ages with his chats. Somebody hooked a delay pedal up to the chatting. Sir, I didn't hear shit, sir. I was trying to goad him by cursing. Xeros would have laid out any other inmate for that. Xeros would have laid any other inmate out for that. Yeah, we don't need for that. Fix the comma at the beginning of the paragraph. Shadowban.eu. Oh shit. FPQC. Oh, that's just Negi as FPQC. Negi hates the Jews, and I guess Jews are into the. He's literally Jewish. Why is there so much goddamn lag on YouTube.com? I don't know why they're fucking like that. It may be. I don't think I have the ability to set real time interaction because the stream doesn't have enough subscribers. But all your chats will echo forever, Negi. So don't talk on YouTube if you can avoid it. All right, comment at the beginning of the last paragraph. I got banned for saying the term "kick in the pants." What the fuck were you on? Math Overflow? Are you serious? I think you can take that up with a if you just send like a polite letter to the moderator and be like, hey, like I'm a good user. Don't ban me for this horse shit. So I'm trying to find where that comment is. Fix the comment at the beginning of the paragraph. The other inmates were. I don't see where it is. This moderator has had it out for me on 10 years. Oh, those are just old echoing chats right there. Yeah, I think like the same thing with me getting banned from the sci-fi subreddit. I'm literally like a fucking science fiction writer. I don't see where Dioxide's comma fucking even is. The other inmates were more forthcoming with me. All right, so yeah, there it is. That's why. Thank you, Dioxide. And just a reminder, where possible, try to give me like some contextual cue. Like if you type out the sentence where I could do like a find or whatever, just because like it's all nebulous and positioning in my mind. But yeah, that's good. So I love this line. That was why they left me in the dark for so long. I was supposed to be wondering if anyone had talked instead of edging. Ooh, oh. See, this is now the chapter is getting to where I want it to be at. I didn't hear shit, sir. I was trying to goad him by cursing. Xeros would have laid out any other inmate, but he ignored the bait. You heard nothing, So you want hurt? Oh yeah, I don't like this. You heard nothing unusual all night long. You heard nothing unusual at all last night. Oh, that's not how a human would talk. You heard nothing unusual? Nothing, sir. I sleep like the dead. Take some time and think about it. I'm sure you'll remember something. Aye, aye, sir. Aye, 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 sir. Uh, he does say, oh, at the end of each reply? Yeah, I think you're right. And we do that in most of the thing. Sir, I was asleep, sir. Okay, we'll add some more. What if we just change every instance of sir in this book to zer? Oh, and just like have all the. What if we just made this like full on Seju pronouns and everything? They wouldn't know what the fuck to think. Oh, that's tempting. I just like yes. Oh, this would be honestly, it'd be like a good one to just strip out all gender from the thing and just have it be nothing but zers. Might even be able to sell it. Oh. Story has fucking nothing to do with gender. Notice also your name is ZYZ. Yeah, what if all my books were just genderless constructs and I started wearing a fucking sundress? Oh, I'd love that. Fucking hate underwear. I'm telling you, maybe the trap life is for me. I don't think so. I'm not ever gonna pass. Alas. I remember talking with somebody who I love dearly about them hooking up with like a trans woman, and she said it's literally like the worst part of being with a man and the worst part of being with a woman because their dick couldn't get hard when it was time to fuck because of all the hormones, and they never shut up. Oh, loving it. Zach Zer. Nothing, sir. I sleep like the dead, sir. Take some time and think about it. I'm sure you'll remember something. Aye, aye, sir. I spent the next 24 hours shackled to that chair, stewing in a pool of urine. Every few hours, a pair of drills would barge in a flare of dazzling light and scream in it. One more sir that needs a comma in the paragraph above. All right. Sir, I didn't hear shit, sir. Oh, yep, there's our comma. Comma points, making you rich. Hell yeah. 36. Spathywah has been slacking this weekend, man. You can catch up with his ass. Every few hours, a pair of drills would barge in, screaming at me in a flare of blinding light. Rehnquist and Nordahl, the stupidest of the drills. The dumbest drills. By far the dumbest drills. Yeah, like, would Trader think dumbest? Yeah. Let's just say stupidest. No, stupidest. Yeah, it's just like, it's a little too childish. The dumbest of the drills. I like that better. Every few hours, comma. That is indeed a good comma. Honestly, like, I'm pretty good with commas for the first hour of editing and shit like that. It's when we get like deeper into rewriting and so forth. It's like my brain disengages from the editing part and I start slipping on all this little shit. And I'm like more concerned with the prose and so forth. This is one of the reasons why this like kind of editing is so good for me. Um, is just like that's a big handicap that I can't be simultaneously like in this creative mode and in the painstaking mode. So, I owe you guys like such a big favor for this. And these are potato people. Both men had the same type of face, lumpy and potato-like. Rehnquist's black eye had faded, but I could still tell. I actually felt a little degraded to be dealing with them, but I like that too. I didn't even rate a first-class torturer like Xeros. He had left me to the dregs. He left me to the dregs. I like that better. Rehnquist said the others in my squadron. Rehnquist said the other inmates had all informed on me. My only hope to avoid execution was to spill everything. Yeah, let's just make it a separate line. I've been left to the dregs. I like two. Needs a comma before two. No, that comma feels so wrong. It feels, but I like that too. I don't like that at all, and it's an important line. If you had, but I like that as well, because two there is meaning as well. I don't. No, I don't like. I don't like that comma one bit. No, 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 no. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, two at the end of his sentence. So this is. It feels so wrong. In most cases, you need not use a comma before two at the end of sentence. She likes chocolate chip cookies too. Thank you. Ugh. It felt so wrong to me, Logic. 100%. You must use commas where two separates the verb from its object. Okay, cool. Thank God. It felt so wrong. It really like touched me deeply, like a sexual desire to be beaten. So I'm gonna give myself a point for that one because that was really like a gut feeling. It was like a perception check that I nat 20'd right there. I really felt like revulsion churning. Maybe I just had too much coffee, but it was like churning in the pit of my stomach. Like, no, no. Rehnquist said the other inmates had all informed on me. He warned I would be executed if I didn't spill everything. He made some threatening gestures, comma, but never followed through. Suros must have warned them not to beat me. Nordahl was the carrot, promising me a drink of water if I'd just go over how the night had gone again. Nordal was the carrot. He promised me a drink of water if I would only recite what had happened that night, telling him every detail. So I changed it to that night because it's been 24 hours. So it's the night before the fish glasses. uh, I'm telling him every detail. I like that better. I must have told him 20 times. I must have told him 20 times. The showers had run out of hot water after flight training. Chow was a bland gruel of 2 green ersatz peas and stringy clots of fab protein. Before lights out, Pirate had told the story of building his own ship and escaping. Hmm. Yeah, I really like this. So this is just like a great opportunity that I provided myself here to talk a little bit about how shitty and routine their everyday life is, like how every aspect of being a prisoner on oh, fuck, I forget the name of I haven't gotten into the space station's name yet, but it comes up a little bit later. But I'll just tell you now, it's Ananke Station after Greek myth. But but like every fucking day on the station is a pain in the ass. And this is just a good spot for me to give like all these details, like sort of bracketed by this other exciting thing that's happening. Like he's being tortured and he has to recite each of these details. Not good enough, Nordal would say, grinning his wide idiot grin. Oh, grinning his wide idiot grin? Grinning his wide idiot lips and quaffing the whole glass. Not good enough, Nordal said each time. would say each time, grinning his wide idiot lips and quaffing the whole glass. I like idiot lips. Um, we could call it a wide idiot mouth. Grinning his wide idiot mouth and quaffing the whole glass. And what else are you gonna fucking grin with? I like wide idiot lips. Let's just leave it like that. That gives me like a decent image. For the 100th time, yeah. Comma points. I wanted that water so badly, but I knew. New needs an italics. And italics. And new needs to be italics, or to be italicized. I wanted that water so badly, but I knew. Even if I told him everything, he would just throw it in my face. I'd only get a few drops licked off the tip of my nose. As the torture wore on, those few drops seemed more and more worth it. But that was just a little part of me. The larger part was disconnected, exulting in the scene as if I was standing beside the as if I was standing right next to the drills, torturing myself. I love that. This idea where he's so disconnected from himself that he imagines that he's taking part in his own torture. Oof. I don't know why. It probably says something about me that I like enjoy these scenes so much because like I'm not a torturing type person. At least definitely not in bed. But it might have something to do with like I don't want to hurt women. I don't like it at all. I think if I could manage to be a gay, I would be like the most sadistic gay of all time. But it just doesn't work for me. So yeah, this is not like a part of myself that would ever really see any kind of action except in fiction. But the malevolence, I just love it. But that was just a But that was just a small part of me. That was just a small part of me. The larger part was disconnected, exulting in the scene as if I was standing right next to the drills, torturing myself. I was beginning to hallucinate, and I welcomed it. I've been having terrible cramps for hours. My eyes felt abraded. I love that my eyes felt abraded. Is it non-sexual reprisal against authority figures in my life? I don't really have authority figures in my life at the moment. Yeah, like my existent the only people who can work with me, like in positions of authority over me, have to be like that respectful. Like, hey, would you do this thing? Yes, certainly. Like, it has to be like that very colleague-y relationship. And anybody who's just like, you do this, there, and so forth, we would not work together for more than a day or anything. And like, if it were a regular job, I would say some shit like, if you say that shit to me in that tone one more time, let's go fight right now. And I'm very fortunate that like I'm like large enough that people and I don't want to like sound like, oh, I'm such a badass or whatever, but I have like a significant problem with people like bossing me around and ordering me around. And unless I'm like really hungry and need to eat, I'm at a point where I don't have to put up with that bullshit, and I can just be like, all right. And at the same juncture, I don't want to like boss other people around and tell them what to do either. I don't like being in that position. I like to, if I'm working together with somebody, I'm like, hey, could you do this and this and this? For whatever is one of the reasons why I didn't do very well in the military is I didn't really know that part of me was like so strong, that aversion to being ordered around and bossed around. And let me paraphrase that. In times of crisis, with somebody that I like deeply respect, that's not the case. Like if there's an emergency happening and somebody's like, you do this, you do that, I understand like the need for immediate action and enjoy like a strong authority figure who's taking charge. And often like I'm the one that is in those situations. We're going to do this and we're going to do that, and we don't have any time to fuck around. This needs to happen right away. And it's like a natural feeling. But in terms of like a day to day, if you've ever been in a job with like some shitty retail job where a boss is like, "You people are so late" and all that shit like that, I lay somebody like that the fuck out. Um, so Logic says I'm like that too, unless it's somebody in my chain of command. That was the real problem that I had. Um, like I would have zero problem like working with an officer that like I thought that they were smart and the shit that they were doing made sense. Like if I had respect for them, um, is not an issue like the military structure. But the second that I was like forced to work with somebody where I thought that that person was an idiot, and when you're in the military, there are many people over you who are just fucking idiots. There's no, I mean, everybody in the military is second rate. They're there because they fucked up their lives, and this was like the best option that was available to them. And even the ones who go into the military, they're like children of military, and they're like, go in, they're fucking officers, and they're commissioned, blah blah blah. Even they have made a terrible choice. Anybody that's in the military, you just know by default that they're stupid because it's so dumb to join the military. Every civilian option is better. Um, and like everything that you want to do in the world, you can do better somewhere else. And I'm saying that like I joined, I was that dumb. So the just the whole structure is rife with people who have like this outsized power over you, but they're fucking imbeciles. And God bless them. I'm sure that I've done plenty of stupid shit in many positions where people thought I was an imbecile, and they might have been right. But and have a huge heart on for being a huge piece of shit. Yeah, really and truly, like some of the greatest pieces of shit that you'll ever meet are in the military, where they find their niche and they like burrow in, and they're like, I'm not happy, and I'm gonna make every person that I come into contact with just as fucking miserable as me, and nobody can stop me because I follow all the rules. Ugh. Those people need their fucking throats slit. Really and truly. Like, they should be first against the wall, no matter what kind of revolution comes around. And they're a big part of the problem with humanity is people like that. Somewhere between like a snitch and a fucking lawyer, and let's not get too deep into it right there. But yeah, I guess maybe some of that is tied into the whole thing there. But I'm very fortunate at the moment. Like I'm in a point where um, there's nobody directly like I like all the people that I work with. I think they're amazing. And I work for a good cause, and I'm very fortunate to be in that position. And it took me a long time to find something where I found that arrangement. And the other times I've just been working for myself, and it's like a little bit different when you're like a consultant and you roll into some place. And even as a consultant, I was the one that they would send in when people were like super mad because I'm like big and imposing, and somebody who's like screaming at some mousy little tech, and then I could just go in, and they like look in my eyes and be like, "Oh yeah, I can't do that with this guy," and they can't. I fucking I don't. I'm not gonna take that bullshit. But it's like the world is so biased in favor of people who have like a large size, and especially if you're like a big old dude. I just it's been like fucking easy street my entire life. Logic has so many retarded stories about these. I wrote a whole fucking like short story somewhere on the internet about my time in basic training. It was like so over the top and this like fucking edgelordy style that I used to write in when I was like 18. But anyhow, so here it's all starting to come apart here. I was beginning to hallucinate, and I welcomed it. I've been having terrible cramps for hours. My eyes felt abraded. Let's go over it again, Rehnquist suggested. Sure, I croaked. My voice sounded like I'd been snorting sand. I noticed that he. Sure thing, sir. My voice sounded like I'd been snorting sand. He's too weak. Better let him stew here, Nordahl contradicted. I don't want contradicted. It's too... You like sure things, sir? Sure things, sir, I croaked. Cool. Sure things, sir. My voice sounded like I'd been snorting sand. I like that there, too. He's too weak. Better let him stew here, Nordahl said. Nordahl butted in. Yeah, I like that better. Do you want that inmate? How about another 24 hours in the dark? Aye, aye, sir. They turned to leave me there, but I knew they weren't finished. They turned to leave me there, but I could sense they weren't finished. I counted the steps towards the door. 1, 2, 3. On the third, Nordahl swiveled on his heel. Yep, I'm already there. His brow was furrowed with what passed for a thought. I like that there. I was just constantly shitting on Nordahl and Rehnquist. Hey, inmate. Yes, sir. How come you never asked us what we're grilling you for? Sir. You'd tell me if I needed to know, sir. You know exactly what happened. Sir, I was asleep, sir. Idiot, Nordahl hissed. The door slammed and there was darkness. For a while, I wondered... Oh. For a while, I wondered if they had left Rehnquist behind to fuck with me in the dark. I strained my ears against the darkness. I strained my ears against the darkness, but I couldn't hear anything but the thrum of the reactor. I think I just hadn't noticed him slip out. For hours, every inch of my skin crawled, anticipating his touch. I like this one there, where he's starting to doubt his own perception. Like, did he leave or not? And where he's just in the dark. Needs commas galore. For 1, 2. Yeah, that is indeed commas galore. Commas galore. What the fuck you writing for? I had lost all sense of time. I started to wonder if the others were doing the same. Trying to guess at which point each had broken. I was certain I could hold out longer than the others. I was certain I could hold out the longest. As the hours bled out in total darkness, my thoughts flew far afield. I hallucinated that I was Lang Tong Chintzy, bloody-eyed on the bridge of Bulldog, preparing for my final tilt at the Titan Forge. Then I became convinced that I was murderous. I raved at the empty interrogation room, begging the drills not to kill my unborn child. I've been in DU all along. Finally, the clarion of judgment sounded. At last, the clarion of judgment sounded. An angel burst before me in a wreath of transcendent flame. Lydia, I whispered. She'd come back for me at last. It was just Xeros, backlit by the corridor. The horns of revelation were just reveille. I love that change. Oh, fucking love it. I like that also they're still using reveille. Fuck that. And like the Chinese military, 500 years in the future. Like, let's just fucking have reveille. It was just Xeros, backlit by the corridor. The horns of revelation were just reveille. The interrogation had gone on for 48 hours straight. Xeros swept on the actual lights. Xeros turned on the interrogation lights. I tried to scream, but I could only produce a punctured wheeze. But I could only produce a punctured rasp. I tried to scream, but I could only produce a rasping croak. Like it. Xeros was clean-shaven. His uniform was perfect. His boots were shined and his buttons gleamed. His boots shined and buttons... Yeah. His uniform was perfect. Boots shined and buttons gleamed. But there was a shadow behind his eyes. He wasn't happy. Enough games. Last chance before I lock the door and give you another 24 without water. I don't care if you die. Do you understand? It took all my strength to nod. I wouldn't make it another 24 hours. Good. Now tell me, where is it? Xeros demanded. I strained. The word was like a hot stone in my throat. I hadn't had a drink in maybe 30 hours. I would have been lapping the piss off my chair like a dog if there was any way to reach it. Xeros brought his ear to my mouth like he was trying to hear my last words. At this point, they very well might be. Oh. At this point, they might be. Where's what? I managed. I got my wish. Xeros hit me so hard I didn't wake up for 3 days. Boom! Oh, loving it. All right, I'll take that Oxford comma right there. Syrup. Let's just go through this one more time. Not because we need to edit, but I just want to hear it again. At last, the clarion of judgment sounded. An angel burst before me in a wreath of transcendent flame. Lydia, I whispered. She'd come back for me at last. That is just like the most fucking awkward foreshadowing. It's not awkward, but it's just like, you know that this is going to be a thing later in the story. She'd come back for me at last. We earned that Lydia, by the way. We really and truly did, by like putting our character to the very brink of death. It was just Xeros, back like by the corridor. The heroines of Revelation were just Reveille. The interrogation had gone on for 48 hours straight. Xeros turned on the room lights. I tried to scream, but I could only produce a rasping croak. Xeros was clean-shaven. His uniform was perfect. Boots shined and buttons gleamed. But there was a shadow behind his eyes. He wasn't happy. Enough games. Last chance before I lock the door and give you another 24 without water. I don't care if you die. Do you understand? It took all my strength to nod. I wouldn't make it another 24 hours. Good. Now tell me, where is it? Xeros demanded. I strained. The word was like a hot stone in my throat. I hadn't had a drink in so long. I would have been lapping the piss off my chair like a dog if there was any way to reach it. I love that note. Xeros brought his ear to my mouth, like he was trying to hear my last words. At this point, they might be. Where's what? I managed. I got my wish. Xeros hit me so hard I didn't wake up for 3 days. Boom! Crazy how drill sergeants do that. Even as an NCO, I never had enough time for the bullshit those dudes got up to, like having their shit starched and stuff. You just really need like a certain fucking personality to be a drill sergeant where you are like compelled to do it. Like those people don't want to have that shit all shined up. They just feel an aversion to not being perfect and so forth. It really earlier in the chapter we say that manifesting obsessive compulsive behavior is their job description, and I agree 100%. Oh, Dave4925 is spurging out in the chat. But so yeah, this is we did not do a ton of editing today, but we're at 75 pages, which means that we're more than a third of the way through the story. We spent 5:30 a.m. So we only edited for an hour and 47 minutes. It felt like much longer. But shove your masks up your ass, says Biden. Nice, very nice. So I think it's a good chapter. I like it. Needed a bunch of retuning, and I think often in chapters where I'm trying to hit like high emotional points, like this one, the writing needs a lot of work because I'm like so excited about my idea that I don't take the time to really get in there and deal with the writing. It's like one of the reasons why writing is so important. This is just 1,500 words right here, but holy shit, it is. Yeah, I guess it's okay for a weekend. So what do we have? We had 1527, and then 147. I'll never forget, halfway through our final march, 12.5 miles in, we met up with our master drill sergeant, and he was perched up on a rock, completely asleep, but sleeping on his heels. Like, how does a man do that? He was like 45 or something. It's just, it's not, human beings aren't meant to live that lifestyle. Okay, so 8 chapters in 7 days. kind of want to edit more, but I think this is a good place to stop, right? Because like I'm already like. By the way, I'd just like to say that Bones Coffee sucks dick. I'm drinking their fucking strawberry cheesecake coffee, and it fucking just tastes like cough syrup. It's awful. Down to edit more if you want. I think Pirates Gallery is too long to edit more. Like, what are we at? We're at page 75. 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it's like an 8-page chapter. I don't have the I can't do 8 pages right now, so it sucks too because like this is like the logical stopping point. And I know if I push more than this, like we won't do as good of a work. But yeah, we'll be here tomorrow. Yeah, we are missing Spaethiwa, who is like the son of our Father, Son, and Holy Ghost thing going on right here. Um, but uh, but yeah, like I just we don't have enough juice to do another paragraph, and it's just I like the editing, like for the rest of the fucking day after this, nothing I do is gonna be as fun as like what we just did for like the last 2 hours. Like I'm like at 3 o'clock, I'm like I could just go to bed now because all I want to do is just edit more and keep working on the story. So really happy with how this chapter goes. This is the chapter where we really find out what Trader is all about, like what's really going on in his head. And we find out that he has this crazy metal because he's so fucked up in the head, right? Um, like, um, it really, we see how his, what would be like, probably even in the future, like this very aberrant way that he's wired is one of the things that's letting him survive um, in this circumstance. And I remember reading stories about that in concentration camps, like where people who were like paranoid all the time, they did okay because everybody really was out to get them and like scheming on their food and trying to get like whatever scant resources they could and conspiring and shit like that. Like the paranoid schizophrenic type people did okay because they were right. Everybody really was out to get them. The fucking guards really were conspiring to rob them of food and like anything that they hid, they would try and get, and everybody would inform on you for a better spot. And like I'm just in this story, we have it set up to where this like this very loner type masochist is able to survive as a consequence of how fucked in the head he is. So I like that. I'm gonna try to do some more streams and stuff today because it's Sunday and we didn't edit too hard today. So maybe we will read another chapter of Lemon Maybe. It's just a short one today. Like the comments about the drills looking at him with disgust. That's super real. It's been so long since I had like any kind of basic training or whatever. But there are some things that you'll just never fucking forget there. And I like this. I like this fucking story. I hope that we can. Honestly, it feels almost good enough to sell. To say the truth, when I was writing this one, I was like, this ain't going fucking nowhere. But I don't know. It's also like a big part of it is that the editing process just makes things so much better. It's like fucking magic. All right, let me get the fuck out of here. Have a good day today, Logic. Get at that beef and fried rice and dreams of astronomy women. And